Welcome to War Games, hosted by the sales genius Joe Ingram. If you're looking to win the sales battle, then you have joined the right team. In the War Games group, we devise strategies for sales, marketing, branding, mindset, and attitude. We enlist the assistance from the most successful producers across all industries. We then share their knowledge and techniques with you. Our single goal is to get you ready for your next sales opportunity. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that have crossed before you. Now, prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for the War Games to begin.
How we play a game.
Welcome, War Gamers. It's Joe. It's a surprise. You go, oh my goodness, is it really Joe? Yes, Joe's always here. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I see some people already jumping on. Guys, this is, okay, let me explain something. I got a guest today. Because why? Because you know Joe's on social media, goes out there, finds people that he enjoys watching and that are providing value. And then I reach out to them, say, please come share the magic that you do with the group here in War Games so that they can get better at what they're doing. And so that is what happened today. So I was out lucky enough to get Jen Crowe to accept the DM, then decide that, yes, Joe is not some freak out on the web trying to be gross or do whatever. And she said, yes, Joe, I'd be honored to do that. So Jen Crowe's the intelligence chief, right? No stranger to understanding the throes of survival, near-death experience, overcoming a lot of life that has happened, the toughest challenge you can possibly get. And her mission is to show everybody else, right, how to find and capture success before their time is up. So that's a very noble thing for someone to do, to say, hey, I've already seen what the end's going to look like and I'm not done yet. And she wants to make sure you do that. But she's going to share with us today how to network like a pro and create genuine connection. And so I'm excited to bring up Miss Jen Crowe. Jen, there you are. Hello. And have her share some wisdom with you. So War Games was created because most salespeople always taught us, or always said to me, was that it's a battle to get to the customer's money. And so I said I could fight them for it, that belief, because I don't believe that. Or I could just say it's War Games, and then we're going to sneak in and teach them the right things to do when it comes around. So most people by now are like, we get it, Joe, we're supposed to be better than just a standard individual. But one of the things that's key when it comes to actually making yourself better, being better itself as an individual, because again, in the world of sales, if I'm a better person, I'm going to sell more. But part of that is the genuine connection, which is what you're so good at. And I'm going to tell you, you're good at that just from doing a one-way video where no one's watching you.
Thanks.
So I'm excited now because it's interactive. It's look, there she is right there. Yes.
This is so much more fun.
Yes, exactly. I said something and she replied back instead of me just yelling at my phone, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, to go, okay, fine. But yeah. So Jen, I don't want to take away from anything you have set up because I know you're gonna share with us today. And I'd rather you just said, here, I'll throw the ball your direction. And you can say, here, I will train. Now switch with me. Okay. There we go. So
front and center.
I'm
a Leo. I love it. All right, let's go. So thanks for having me, Joe, and welcome to everybody that's watching today. It's an honor to be here. And I love when we say, it's how do we get straight to their money first, right? Well, it used to be that way. It was. And now the name of the game is how do I get their trust first before my competitor does? And, brief history and bio, I spent 18 years in the automotive industry, everything from sales to general manager. I was a sales trainer for at least 10 of those years. And then I started a State Farm agency from scratch. And I learned the hard way that you're up against so many different things in any sales position. And it consistently changes and morphs. So if you're not ahead of the game, you're behind the game, right?
Right.
So it took being told I had 24 hours to live following a bilateral pulmonary embolism with a 2% chance of survival, for me to flip my switch and realize that there is so much more. There's nothing like being told you're going to die and you have no more time to change anything than to have a complete perspective shift. So it's a miracle that I'm here, and I'm grateful every day. But I'll tell you, it's been an uphill climb. And one of the things that was the most difficult for me was to come out of this and say, with all of this experience and all of this life experience, what is it that I really want to show up as? What is my purpose now? And it was like the bells go off, and I really don't want anyone else to arrive on that day and have the feelings that I did, that the person I had to become because of survival and in life and all the things met the person I could have become. And now I wanted to change everything, right? And I wanted to do the thing that I didn't do. And I was told, no, you're out of time. So my goal now is to show people how to make sure that when you arrive on your last day, you've done the thing you want, you've gotten the goals that you want. And so with that, I started my coaching consulting company. And one of the things I designed is called the Cellular Method. And the Cellular Method is all about how to create genuine, authentic relations with people, whether it's in your personal circle, your professional circle, your client circle, online or offline. Okay. And the idea is the whole presence behind the Cellular Method, 30,000 foot views into a half hour,
right?
is that you need to make people feel. If you want to get that attachment, if you want to create the connection, if you want to have that trust bridge, they need to feel something emotionally. And FEEL is an acronym I came up with that stands for you need to facilitate emotional experiences for loyalty, leverage, or love. And so what I did is created a platform where I can reach out to anybody in any industry, but in sales especially, it's understanding how to leverage every opportunity and every platform that you have to be able to create these emotional experiences for people. So what I talk about is the kind of the tips and the tricks, and I'll talk fast. I'm sure this is recorded or you guys can get it.
Yes.
Write fast, take notes fast.
I was going to say, I got FEE so far. I got the facilitate the emotional
experiences for, and then the L is 3L. It's loyalty, leverage, and love.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. And you're welcome. So when we're talking about building a genuine connection and networking like a pro online and offline, especially post-pandemic, the game has totally changed. So it is really about how do I facilitate an emotional experience? Well, first of all, you need to understand your identity. You need to get clear on your why again. And you need to decide who you want to show up as and who your end user is. What are they looking for? We spend so much time on who are we, what do we want, what do we want to be like? And that's not what you're doing. You're facilitating emotional connection. So what does that look like for you? And then it's visibility and presence. How are you showing up? Some of the best ways that you can show up online in social media is when you consider making people feel. It's what makes me feel, what makes me create the buying decision, right? So a genuine connection online is going to be through trust and constant, consistent presence. And what people are looking for now, and the things that get you further faster, are relatable content. So for example, people want to know about your wins. They want to know what you did for other people. They want to know how you stand out. So when I'm helping people with their social media strategy, I'm telling them, okay, people need to know your story. Number one, that is how you emotionally resonate and connect. Who are you? You need to start putting your story out there, and your why and your passion, why you do what you do, because people want to connect to that. The next part of it, to get down underneath all of the layers of expectation that people have on you as a salesperson, to get down to their soul, is to talk about what you've done for other people. So testimonials are like the golden egg of everything and anything that you can possibly do. So getting the testimonials and then weekly putting them out there for people. That's probably one of the biggest things that people don't do that has the biggest ROI.
So is your recommendation video testimonial?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Once you've started to gain your audience, right, and you want to build your audience online, then you can do a video testimonial. You can get a written testimonial. I will even have my clients, when I do a post, for example, if you follow me, you'll see I'm doing a lot of posting right now about offers that I'm doing or how I'm helping people. I'm asking them to go into my post and write their testimonial in the comment.
Brilliant.
And they're quick to do it. Yeah. And so testimonials are the biggest one to get that genuine connection. It's kind of like when you think about Yelp, when we go to a restaurant and we're looking up a restaurant review, we go to Yelp, we look for a 5-star review from somebody we don't know who they are, we don't know if they're credible, we don't even know if it's real, but we will subconsciously make a decision based on that review. Right?
Yes. My bride does this at restaurants. She asks the server, what do you recommend? I'm like, what have the two of you ever eaten that you would know whether it was good or not? Right. We all have different taste buds. And she always says, shut up. I'm going to keep doing this. Here's a riveting question for you. Mo Rock says, what does her shirt say? Because we're only getting the top row.
Sorry. It says, that's a horrible idea. What time?
What time? Perfect. And Brian joined us too. Jen.
Hi, Brian.
So.
How's it going? So your testimonials and what you're putting out there as far as wins and how you've helped people is your Yelp review that people will automatically subconsciously remember. So it doesn't matter how many times you introduce yourself or tell people what you do or say hi to them. Those reviews subconsciously stick the first time they see them. And it starts to create an imprint. So that's a cellular connection, right? That's creating genuine connection. And then, the other is, and people take for granted things like your community groups, like the BNI groups, right? Genuine connections come from people getting to know you. Well, here's a trick, okay? If you're in sales, BNI, for example, if you don't know what BNI is, I highly encourage you to look it up, but it's a business referral networking group, and it's always local to where you are. However, you can visit a BNI chapter anywhere that there is. So it doesn't have to be in your location. You're allowed to visit a chapter twice. Ooh. So what can you do? You can make it a weekly task to get yourself as a visitor into multiple BNI groups.
And so you're just attending as a business
as a visitor.
Person. Okay, got it.
So what do you get when you attend as a visitor? You get the full roster of everybody in the BNI group. Okay. You show up and it's visibility and it's local to you. Right. And, hopefully you find one that you're like, this is great. Or, I ended up in mine because I visited doing the same method. And they were at the time I was really doing a lot of recruiting and they didn't have a recruiter. And all of a sudden I had 10 referrals after my first visit, which equated to about 50 grand. I'm like, okay, I'll join this one for a while.
This one kind of built enough value that's in there.
This one built value immediately. But that's what happens. And then you can visit a couple times. But once you get the roster, that roster goes immediately into your email campaign, your email list. Right. And these are people that are genuinely referring business. That is their lifestyle. So where else can you put yourself in front of people to build genuine connections so they meet you, that they are referral trained, if you will?
Okay. I want to ask how, when I show up, other than being me, right? How am I building this genuine connection? Am I jumping too far ahead? Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, no.
Are you talking about online or offline?
No. When I show up at a BNI group, how is it that I build that genuine connection? Because if I can go back twice, I'd prefer to go back and they go, hey, you came back. Not that was the guy that was in the back grabbing a list and ran out.
Yeah. So some of this goes back to basic skill. What's the number one thing that will break the ice and get people to remember you immediately?
Throwing
a compliment. That too.
Okay. Yes.
A compliment, right?
Okay.
For whatever, a compliment is always memorable and it always diffuses and it always creates an immediate connection to you. So that's the number one thing you always want to do. And make it genuine, right?
So not the first email I sent you. Got it. Okay. Or the first message. Yes.
It can be. I tell people online that's an immediate intro. Excuse me real quick. Is you look for somebody that you want to meet or that you want to have a connection with. You go to their post, you go to something they did. The very first sentence of your intro and your message is compliment. I really appreciated. I really enjoyed whatever it was. Okay. I would love to connect with you sometime. Are you open to doing a one-to-one or would you like to have a conversation? Whatever that, but the first sentence, if you acknowledge something that you saw, immediate genuine connection.
Absolutely. No, I did it right then. That was the first one. Yes. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other ways to do it is when you're in person, it's always leveraging who you know, right? The warm intro is the other one. And people do a warm intro the wrong way all the time. It's like they tag them in a post, or they say, "Oh, hey, call so and so." And I'm sure you guys talk about this a lot. A warm intro is immediately two people in the same text, two people in the same post, tag them both at the same time. That is a genuine warm connection that's lasting. The other is, I tell everyone, throw your business cards away. If you're still using business cards, you're going to be obsolete, right?
Yep.
Because what do you want? A genuine connection comes from making an impact or an impression, right? So I will never ever have a card on me. And when people ask for the card, I said, I don't have it. But I tell you what, I either say, take out your phone, here's my information, or I say, sales 101, take your phone out. I'm going to send you my information right now. Your area code, what, 707? Boom, done. And send it. And now you have that relay. Your next message, genuine connection, is immediately a follow-up call. I want to get to know you. Anytime you want to create that genuine bridge is when you tell somebody else that you want to get to know them better, right? So even if it were in car sales, for example, does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. She slowed down. Brian, we're still okay? Yeah. Okay. That was her internet. Yes. I was sitting there, I'm like, oh crap, it's my office. Yes.
Oh, no.
Hi, you're back. Yes. So we did understand. Yes, when you said that. It does make sense. So I was filling it in going, I have digital business cards, right? Yes. So I have the one where you tap on somebody's phone, but I never use it.
Right.
I don't use it because I have it if they were to say it, but I just tell everybody, open your phone browser and go to joescontact.com.
Right.
And when you pull it up, it's that digital business card that they can click save to their phone.
So one of the and that's great too, but you want to reduce clicks for them, and you want to immediately engage them into some sort of a contact funnel, which is going to be immediately setting up the next thing. So if it's a call,
I blame Brian for the internet. You're muted, Brian. You don't get to talk.
She's just doing open loops. It's fine.
Right. It's a great strategy. She starts it and then she lets it fall off, and we're all like, "Tell us more, Jen." This is all part of genuine.
Is that it's not my Wi-Fi, is it? What is that?
Yeah, we're still talking and doing it, so I think it's on your side. But Brian and I were talking. Weird. He goes, "She's open looping us. She starts the loop and then leaves us hanging to come back." Yes, but everybody now is like, "Oh my goodness." She's so good at that. Yes.
That is so funny. I don't know I usually have great Wi-Fi. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, let's try this again. Yes. Anyway, but it's really about creating the funnel immediately. And then people want to, they want to talk about themselves. So get them doing that. And even if you're in car sales, for example, and it's a customer of yours, make sure you say what's important to you. Tell me a little bit more about you. Get them talking about themselves. And this is 101, but we forget to do it when we're in the hustle, right? We forget to care enough to want to facilitate that emotional experience. So that is really what we want to do. So, going back to what the cellular method is, it's getting beneath the expectations that people already have and breaking it down, compliment, facilitating emotional experience. And you do that through making people feel good and talking about themselves makes them feel good. But it's really important, to have that, repeatable funnel set up. People get the number or they get the card, and then 9 times out of 10, they forget to do the follow-up. But if you do it immediately in the moment, in the now, and say, hey, I'd like to do a follow-up conversation with you, or not, would you like to? Your time is important to me. What are you available next Wednesday? And then you go into your normal sales, your normal close. But the genuine connections are always going to come through building the relationship. And online, it's going to be showing up with your story and letting people get to know you. That is where the genuine part comes in, right? We get so used to talking about what we do, or we're talking our business, or pictures of our food. But, Joe, I lay it all out there, everything.
I've seen her without makeup. Yes, I've seen her all the time because she does. She lays
Right.
it out there. Because
Right.
again, I wrote down again because Brian, here's another person who's really good at social media who keeps adding the word consistency
Yeah.
to what they're doing. And so when I look at it, I'm consistently inconsistent when it comes
Right.
to posting
Oh.
and doing stuff on there. So
I could do social media training or TikTok training for hours. So but yeah, it is, you know, people talk about you got to be motivated and consistent, right?
right.
Yeah, motivation is bullshit, straight up, because
Agreed.
there is no motivation without discipline, right? Motivation falls off, but discipline is the number one thing. And these are all methods and strategies that you want to create and implement and keep going. And I think it's, who is it? Darren Hardy says it best, right? He says, plan it, do it, review it, improve it. Constantly be doing that.
Right.
And when it comes to your genuine connections, it's about knowing who you are, understanding your why, and talking about it all the time. All the time. And if you go through major life changes, talk about it. Talk about the things that you want to, you know, that you enjoy doing, or wins, you know, struggles, all those kinds of things, because the end user, the person that's trying to connect to you, they're looking at you plus however many other people, but it's always the one thing that's real about you that they'll connect to. And people get so used to trying to put on a front or try to project what they think people want to see. And that comes off so inauthentic that we completely lose sight of ourselves. Eventually that happens. But more importantly, we're actually pushing away the people we want and attracting the ones that we don't want.
Okay. No, I agree. Because that's legit how you and I got connected.
Right.
Yeah, I watch and she drops like gem after gem after gem, and I'm like, this is great. And then boom, it's her telling us something that happened. And she was like, okay, and now I'm flustered because of this or this and that. Brian, you just got a whole bunch of material that you can work on now that comes up. So
right.
But and there was already got Mo Rock over here going, can Brian read Jen's face? So I was like, so Brian does face reading so he can look at you and tell you who you are personality wise. It's his proactive way to approach people.
I like it.
Brian, I listen to you.
I like it.
Yes.
See, I can see souls, so I call it soul tapping.
Ooh.
So if you can see personality, you're probably in that same realm.
So what do you do with redheads since they don't have souls?
Nice.
Ooh, I'm often a redhead.
Joke.
This is the first fall I haven't been a redhead. So.
I was married to one. That's why we can make the jokes.
Soulless redheads. Yeah, I love it. That's hilarious. No, but you know, I hope that helps. And that's really the genuine connection. The most important thing is that people don't want to be sold anymore. They don't want you to show up as anything other than what you truly are, and they can read you. And post-pandemic relationships are completely different than they were pre-pandemic. And if you're showing up in anything, I mean, it's kind of like the rule of 5, right? If you look forward 5 years from right this minute,
right,
you might as well repeat the same last 5 years if you're not willing to make that change. And the change needs to be how you're going to show up with your identity and your authenticity. And that is 100% what people are looking for. And creating, you know, I don't know if Brian, were you on when I was explaining the FEEL program? So it's an acronym I created to kind of help people understand what the cellular method is. The cellular method, which is getting underneath expectations and getting below the layers to really create and make people feel, whether it's virtually or in person. Your goal is to make them feel something emotionally that makes them attach, and FEEL stands for facilitate emotional experiences for loyalty, leverage, or love. Yeah.
And I know you didn't write that down that fast, Brian.
Nope. I will be watching the replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Brian's
I believe it's on my website too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, you know, it seems so simple, but people just want to know who you are. And it's about showing up consistently and making sure that everything you post, you're thinking about the viewer that you want to see it and what they're going through. So everything that you're posting is here's something for you. When you're posting and you're trying to draw people to you in sales, people talk about problem solution. This is one of the most important things I'll tell you right now is if you're doing problem solution, you're losing 80% of the audience, because people don't relate to a problem they don't know they have. They relate to a symptom. So it's symptom, problem, solution. Right. So that feeling, making them feel, is talking about the symptoms they're experiencing, explaining what the problem is causing the symptom, and then how you come and you save it, provide everything they need to make the symptom go away.
Wow, look, Amy Lee even said, whoa. There you go. She just changed Amy Lee's business right there.
There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, she just changed like every post I'm going to do. And I feel bad that I just put a post up before we did this on Instagram and TikTok. I'm like, wait.
Big social media rule is never delete anything. Don't ever delete anything. Let it go. Let it ride. You only need one person to see it. Don't worry about it. But when you talk about symptoms that people are experiencing, right? And so your hook on social media always includes, are you feeling blank? I have a solution, or a number. 5 ways to overcome stressful car buying, right? Whatever it is, whatever. Numbers in the hook are what draw people in.
Okay.
And then in the very first part of your post or content, what are people feeling? So you want to, whatever your sale is, whatever the product is, whatever, you can tailor it to whatever you're trying to accomplish that week or that month or that quarter, and just hammer on it. And I tell people, write out every emotion that your end user, your customer is feeling without what you have. And if you sit there and think about all the feelings somebody goes through that needs whatever it is that you got, that turns in, and let's say it's there's 40 feelings, right? That's 40 posts. And you can turn that one post from a short form to a long form and keep on doing it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, it's the first time, the first time I've heard anyone, and we've been doing this well over a year, that's, because again, I'm big on who are you selling to?
Right.
Who's that? And the customer avatar, everybody calls it, right? And so, but not once has anybody said, what does that customer feel? Right? It was always define what it is.
Right.
So there you go, Amy Lee.
Right.
I can use the feelings wheel and just check them off. You've got all your content, Amy Lee. It's right there now. You need a plan. It's like done. And if anybody knows feelings, it's Amy Lee. You guys should connect.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a warm connection because you're both here. See what I'm saying?
That's absolutely a warm connection.
Yes, that's a fantastic thing. So,
no, and please, connect with me after the show. We can, follow, and my TikTok is very different than my Facebook, but same idea. Yeah.
So Amy Lee has the link, but she's not camera ready. That's why she's not on. She had the link to join us, but she's like, no. Oh, so you're not being authentic? Is that what Jen just said? What? Yes.
Well, no, she's actually authentically being honest that she's not ready to show up right now.
She's brutally honest. But no, that's perfect.
For sure.
Okay, so I don't want to cut you off, but let's be real.
No, that's okay.
You got to facilitate an emotional experience, which is loyalty, leverage, or love, to get them to engage with you on a deeper level. Okay?
Right.
My biggest takeaway is define your end user and what they're feeling. And every feeling becomes a post.
Yep.
And everyone can go in there, but you should start them with, are you feeling blank? Right. Yeah. And then have a number, right? There's the 5 things to do, the 3 things that's there. Yeah. You should not be a moron and do problems and solutions. Okay.
Well,
I may have summarized differently.
We're just going to get ahead of the curve. We're going to come into the new age of.
Yes. Right. So you should be doing symptom problem solution so they can identify with the symptom that's there. Okay. Another thing that just blew my mind. Right. And I watch everything she puts up. So this is just amazing to me though. But do the post and then ask people to put the testimonial in the post.
Yeah.
That's so flippin' Yelp and so validating that I had never thought of it that way. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, visibility and consistency gets you trust online. And that's what we'll be doing. I knew that and I've heard that before and I ignored it until you said it. So, and then one of the things too that you said was defining who you want to show up as.
Right.
Okay. So how does one define that end result? Because a lot of people are like, well, I want to be happy and go lucky. Yeah. Okay. But what is it I'm trying to be? Yeah.
So this is a very deep conversation and it's probably going to take more than 2 minutes, but I'm
not a shallow person.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, this is a conundrum that we learn, and it's programmed and learned behavior since an early age.
So
is
give us a
that
taste.
you need to
give us
you
a
need to
taste
figure
so
out.
they can go
Yeah.
to you to get the rest. The
Okay,
open
got
loop.
it, got it, got it.
The open loop.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do soul coaching. Yes, I help you identify and get all this.
Yes.
But I want you to remember one thing. If you take nothing away from this part of the conversation, is that we're taught and we programmed that we're supposed to be this kind of person, like one person. Who are we? Am I Jen the coach? Am I Jen the? But the fact of the matter is, people I think have identity crisis, because what you're not told is that you're allowed to have, and you actually do have, multiple identities, right? Multiple identities.
As
and
women, you have way more.
Probably, yeah, right, all the way down. Nice, Joe. I'll talk to you after class. Anyways. And here's something that is a wow moment too, is that identity, who you are from the core, comes from your soul level. Okay. Personality derives from ego. Ego is built up over influences, experiences, situationships, you name it. And what we lose track of is soul identity. So it's really getting into sitting down and saying, okay, here's a good example. I have multiple identities. And I always say, there's 50 shades of gray. It's 99 shades of Jen, and I'll own every one of them at different times. Nice. Right. So I've got my boss babe. I've got my nurturer. I've got the one that wants to sit and pout in the morning because I just can't, my ADD kicks in and I'm like, I can't do anything. But what I also recognize is when I can pull them forward. So for example, I walk by the dishes and I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm not going to do it. And then my bad bitch like, yes, bitch, get those dishes done. Like, you don't have a choice. No, now. Right now, and the thing is that, if you watch my social media, you're going to see me show up in leather, and I'm taking back my power identity, because that is who I resonate with the most. And before, it was a lot more soft, and it wasn't working for me. I was like, I was trying to tailor to trying to tailor to who I wanted my audience to be. But once I re-identified who I want my audience to be and what I really want to show up as, it changes, because I was attracting not my client.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And when I show up in my powerhouse, like when I was running dealerships, I was called Mama Bear because I was, very encompassing. But I was also called Beast Mode and Bloodbath, and it just was.
Because we're complicated individuals in the car business.
But it's because it was like I kept trying to show up as the nurturer or the coach, and then sometimes I had to show up as this fire fast and get it done. But it's the part of it that you want to do is, who do you feel like you are as yourself when you show up, and what are you doing that is not that? And if you're not sure, I say, who is somebody that you look up to that you want to be just like, that's operating, behaving, and doing exactly what you'd like to do, and start mimicking. Start pulling that in. Wear what they wear. Start showing up as, if they're wearing leather jackets, go try one on. Go see how it feels, but change it up. So that's really what it is. It's getting into a comfortable place with your identities and understanding you can have more than one. And some days I'll show up like I was just off surfing, and other days I just came off the stage, and, other days I'm just chilling in my pajamas talking on TikTok. It's fine.
And it's true, you don't have to share all identities with people, right?
No, if you start to go into chaotic or disassimilated, or
look, multiple personality disorder happened right now in front of all of us on TikTok.
Fine balance between ego, personality, and soul and identity.
Right.
But it's just understanding that you can have multiple ways that you are and that feel good to you.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so Amy Lee, I do need to connect you and Jen together, since your audience resonates with your boss energy too. And if you go in there, you can tell which identity that Jen's thrown out there. So she's got power pose, walk up to the camera, and she's got all that stuff. So, but Amy Lee has a very large group here on Facebook as well.
I love it. I love
she has. Yeah. So But perfect. Brian, any questions?
Yep.
Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go back and watch the beginning part.
Yeah,
but
you do have to.
I do like how Jen's got two modes, right? She's either gonna cuddle you or kill you. That's a very dynamic.
Right.
Kill is a hard word. It's
there's
more like
layers in between, bro. Yeah. There's layers in between. Yeah.
There are.
Sometimes she'll just cut you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
She
we don't have to
doesn't
go for the
go
full
for the
throttle,
kill.
you know,
Yeah,
every time.
Exactly. Just cut you behind the leg there so that you can't walk right
Yeah.
for the rest of your life and you
Yeah.
remember her.
No,
That's
people
always
that
a
hire
good
me
thing.
for coaching are not needing to be coddled. They're needing like straight to your face. Let's go. We're done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Brian, do you have anything immediately about her face?
Well, I mean, obviously the cheeks, right? Like, so she has those healer cheeks, the big rounded cheeks that people are attracted to. So we see them, and that's what captures so much light whenever she's talking. So absolutely, that's what stands up right away.
Oh, thank you.
And he's got this whole thing. It's amazing. So
That's great. I love it.
but
I
yes.
love it.
So,
Definitely resonate with that.
thank you for giving up your
All
time
right.
today, Jen.
Oh,
You
I'm
were
happy to.
absolutely amazing. Everybody
you.
go follow her on social media. She's been actively posting on Instagram as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've been out on Instagram. I've seen you a lot more on Instagram.
Yeah,
But
I'm on
Instagram's
LinkedIn,
my
Facebook,
hub.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but go find her. And then Robert Brooker thrives in chaos. Yes. But as long as the chaos is not internal,
Right.
that's the key. Right. If you're secure inside, if everything's lined up, you can survive in chaos and thrive. Yeah.
I don't know an entrepreneur, to be honest, that isn't somewhat chaotic on some level.
Absolutely.
It's just how the brain operates at a higher functioning level. That's it.
That's true. That's why, as Amy Lee taught me, you have to find an integrator to take all the ideas you have,
100%.
you can hand to somebody,
100.
and
I'm
let
still
them
looking
go
for that
build
person.
it and do it. Yeah. So
I still have to trust them enough to give them.
Yes.
You know.
So
Yeah,
but
integrators are
Amy
very
Lee
extremely
thrives
important.
in anger. Wow. Whew. That's called issues.
Is it anger or is it just emphasized energy?
Ooh, that was so much more
Towards-
of a positive spin. I like that.
I
Perfect. So I appreciate you so much, Jen. You were amazing.
Thank you guys for having me.
I've got a page of notes. Brian will go back and take a page of notes as well as he goes through. So she said, no, it's like being activated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, like it.
All right.
All right,
Activated
y'all.
energy, not angry. But thank you so much, Jen. Appreciate you.
You bet.
Everybody else, go out and sell something.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.